Growing up, I had a lot of social anxiety. A lot. When I was 3 years old, there was a woman who would come over to watch me while my parents were at work, and I hid under the coffee table the entire time she was there. I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I didn't pee, I hid. So she would sit on the couch next to me, reading stories and whispering them, so that every once in a while, if I wanted to know what happened, I had to peek my head out from under the table. And then we would make eye contact, and I would turtle. Then we moved. And our next apartment had these huge, beautiful curtains, enormous, floor-length, dramatic. They were awesome, epic. And I spent a lot of time behind them, hiding anytime anybody came over. I was in my own wonderful world playing pretend. I was a superhero, a fluffy dog, a lizard. It was awesome. I was oblivious to the whole world around me. At my grandparents' house, I hid under the grand piano. It had a huge tablecloth over it. It got to the point where my sweet grandmother actually left a little box of toys under there for me. When I was around 6, my parents decided that they had simply had enough of me hiding behind or below various pieces of furniture when anybody came over. So they enrolled me in theater camp. Theater camp was terrifying, until it wasn't. Turns out that acting was the same thing that I was already doing behind the curtain, except this time I was just in front of other people, pretending in my own world, super committed. And when I did that at camp, I was funny, and people liked it, and they clapped, and they liked me, and it didn't seem like anyone was going to murder my soul with eye contact. A huge bonus. Also, when I pretended real good, like when I killed as tomato number 7 in the Eat Your Vegetables dance number, the grown-ups were impressed, which led to the grown-ups telling my parents how impressed they were, which led to my parents being impressed and proud of me, which led to personal relief. I just wanted them to be proud of me. So on the first day of first grade, I had an epiphany. All I had to do in order to get the teachers to like me and then tell my parents was to pretend to be a delightful social person on the outside with everyone like it was a play. Great! And it worked. Of course, all of that pretending was super exhausting, and at the end of the day, I would come home and lay in bed drained from all those pretending plays of being cool, and I wouldn't go out with any of my friends. But here's the thing about pretending. Eventually, if you do it long enough, the show becomes the reality, and voila! I was recast as a socially capable and gregarious child, a loudmouth, a class clown, an opinionated, nasty woman. I was popular. I had lots of friends and a couple of besties. I was in loads of activities. I performed regularly on the stages of Tel Aviv as a professional actor. I was a happy kid. And then we moved to America, to a small town in Texas. So like for real, America. I left Tel Aviv, think Manhattan, and moved to College Station, Texas. Think unironic big hair and blue eyeshadow. And I didn't speak English, and I had a terrible Jufro and a rat tail, and it wasn't clear from how I dressed whether I was a boy or a girl. A real problem when you're in middle school and you don't speak English to explain what your gender is. A teacher actually yelled at me when I went into the girls' room. Get out of there! That's the girls' room! You can't be in there! It was fucking terrible. And it all came back. The social anxiety, the living inside of a safe world of books and pen pals, to my friends back in Israel, the fear of speaking up, the disappearing act into a wall of curtains. I faked being a deaf person to avoid having to talk to a boy in my neighborhood. Sorry, Josh Brown. So my parents, of course, noticed, and once again, threw me into a theater program. And even though the theater program of College Station, Texas sucked, it was something, and slowly but surely I came back. And my confidence in English grew, and so did my confidence in myself. And then high school! High school. A time when we all seek to find our fame for something. My freshman year, I remember watching the Limelights. You know, the Limelights? Most likely to succeed, prettiest eyes, best dressed, most talented. And then what just totally struck out at me? Weirdest. And I thought, oh my God, I found my calling. When I really dig down and try to reason out what the fuck I was doing, I think it was just about being noticed. And I think that being noticed was about, for being different, maybe would allow me to justify all of the sadness that I had endured in moving here. Because really, even when you couldn't hear my accent anymore, when somebody asked me where I was from, I said, Israel. Why? Because that makes me different and interesting. And interesting means that they're going to spend more time with me, talking with me, and noticing me, and including me. And interesting means that if they reject me, well then fuck them, because they're just closed-minded about the way in which I'm interesting. And interesting means that I am hiding behind new, socially acceptable curtains. Interesting means I'm hiding in plain sight. On the way out of the gym where they had held the assembly for the Limelights, I overheard Carly Johnson telling Lindsay Stiles, "Oh, Lindsay, you're for sure gonna win Weirdest because your style is so unique. You have chunky highlights." And I remember thinking to myself, fuck you, Lindsay Stiles. I have a Jufro. I'm the weirdest person at the school. And then it was on. I did everything in my power to become famous in my school for being weird. I wore fairy wings and roller skates. And because I was such a huge overachieving nerd, the administration allowed it even though our school had an incredibly strict dress code. For Mole Day, on which we honor the unit of mole, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, kind of like Pi Day for math, March 14th, but for chemistry nerds. It's October 23rd at 6:02 a.m. and 6:02 p.m. So for Mole Day, I made myself a mole costume, and I wore it every year. I wore clashing colors just cause, and I created bizarre performance art pieces with my friends where we mostly lip-synced to 60s protest music. I was contrary, just to be heard. I led a protest against a teacher who talked about religion and politics in public school, trying to get her fired. And, you know, I have this weird name, Roni. My senior year, on the day of the Limelights, I wore something spectacularly normal. Lindsay Stiles wore funky overalls. That bitch. When they called out weirdest boy, Noah, now a world-famous economist. No joke, y'all. And oddly, the only other Jew in our entire class of 500. Hashtag America. I held my breath. And then they called my name. Roni Geva. Sure, my last name is pronounced Geva, and I'd only corrected them for the last 7 years of being in College Station. But fuck yeah, I got weirdest. I proudly marched to the center of the gym to shake hands with Noah. We made a meal of it. Thinking back on it, we just both wanted to be liked so bad, but pretended that we didn't give a shit. Or maybe Noah actually didn't give a shit. I'm not sure. A month later, I was elected speaker for our graduation. Not because I was the top achiever at our school, although, I mean, I was up there. We all didn't go to Northwestern. But because my classmates were excited to see what on earth I would do in front of a couple thousand people. I did not disappoint. I wrote a song and dance routine, which my mother recently unearthed and showed me. It started with me taking off my hat and going, "Hello, high school, yes, hello, high school." It was the weirdest thing they'd ever seen at a Texas A&M Consolidated high school graduation. And the day after graduation, I shaved my head for good measure. Not a great look for me, but now I know. Now that I have my wits about me, I look back at all of that hard work, and I laugh. I know exactly what I was doing. And still, when I visit my hometown, people remember me. They remember my weird name. They remember my weird antics. For them, I'm still that Limelights girl. And so we laugh about the time I wore all black and was in mourning for my life because somebody said something anti-Semitic in history class. It's embarrassing, but it's also incredible. I love me. I love who I was then. I would be friends with that girl all over again. I love celebrating Mole Day. And I'm a grown-up. But really, let's just take this in for a second. I am standing up here, not hiding under the set pieces, not behind the door, not wearing wings or a mole costume, in a literal limelight, speaking my truth in English without an accent. Sure, I'm still hiding behind self-deprecating jokes and funky clothing and still occasionally battling the whack-a-mole of social anxiety, but I'm winning. Fuck yeah, theater camp!